It is Wednesday. We are wizards, and today is a day we like to call Wizard Wednesday. Channeling in with quantum style through the quantum downs. This is Elf.
And Dotta, hello.
Hello, and who else do we have?
The
bear from the Bear
Hey,
Cave. What up, guys? How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Just coding my little fingers off for the Halloween event. I've been heads down coding Dota for the last few weeks, and I've got the one who rings by my side, Nisha, Niski, the whole team. We're really looking forward to Halloween.
I'm sick of Dev Dota. I don't get to talk to you when you're coding.
I know. I just hide in my little cave, and I only talk to people who know how to program.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, it's well, Trick or Treat is 9 days away, I think, and yeah, I just want to give a huge thanks to Niski, Waz, Nisha, and Cosmo. I think is also giving some assist on some dev. I know he's working on Walkcycles. But I'll tell you one thing I've noticed is every time we do a mint or an event or something, Dota says the same thing, which is this is probably he goes,
We're not going to make it.
This is probably the most complex smart contract we've ever written. So, Dota, is that true this time?
And the other thing he says is, "This is going to make us so much better next time."
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to make us so much better next time. We're not going to make it.
I'm stressed out.
I'm stressed out. So, we try to make it look easy, but, I'm sweating on the inside every time.
Yeah, well, speaking of Trick or Treat, did you all see them souls turning? We've got soul Walkcycles done. So yeah, those will be deployed during the Trick or Treat event. But I don't know. Will they be available before then, like either as a Discord bot or anything like that?
Yeah, I'd like to get them out beforehand, at least via the API, if not via the bots or something. But we're very, very close. I've got a few things to do on the tech side to make them available. One of the things I need to make sure is I go through and remove any of the unrevealed ultra rares, because the last thing we would ever want to do is leak a hint of what the ultra rares might be. So
yeah, that would be
after that, we always have all yeah. After that, we'll have them, ready to go, and you can use them in kind of any meta that wants to support them.
Yep.
Can we give a quick shout out to our friends that helped us get that across the finish line?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
We so the Walkcycles. I think we talked about it last week. Alf was locked in a room for months last year doing the wizard cycles, and then Kaz came in to help on a bunch more animations and walks and turns. And then I think y'all know Pixel Shop. I think is it Tad that really sort of brought them into the fold. I think, and they were doing a lot of commissions, and there was one animation that they did, and I was like, we have to work with these guys, and so I reached out, and so they've come in, and they really nailed the Walkcycles. Alpha, I think you can talk about the details, but it's really the bar that you set, Alpha, I think, with these creative primitives, aka pixels, is really high. And it's been quite difficult to find people who can execute at that level and at that scale. And Pixel Shop, Sumi's leads that team over there, and they've just been so wonderful. We can't say enough good things about them.
Yeah, I don't want to say any more good things about them because I don't want anybody else to try to use them. They need to be all ours. They're helping us on the artwork for our upcoming post-Halloween play-to-earn crypto board game, and the art, they sent over some pieces today, and it's just beautiful. You all will have to wait until after Halloween to hear more about that.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Yep. Yeah, they've been awesome. Yeah, we're just really glad to have them. So yeah, I think I don't know. I think we can talk about Pixel Shop and their awesome work when we have more to show from them. But yeah, they were a huge help with the Soul Walkcycles. And since I didn't have to do those, it allowed me to do tons of other things that will be revealed, especially during trick or treat. Okay, let's go into just some cult questions that I pulled from the Secret Tower. The first one, it looks like more of a tech question from Nahua. Dotta, did you see this question regarding is there going to be a snapshot about who is knocked and who is not knocked?
Yeah. I don't plan to do a snapshot. I don't mind like arbitrage or people that write scripts, and I try to minimize the effect of it. So, for example, in Trick or Treat, for example, it probably would be good to have a way to check on secondary before you buy one if a token has claimed it's Trick or Treat or not. That's a good idea, but I think honestly at this point there's going to have to be a stretch goal. But yeah, no, I mean, there's enough tokens for all of the, Forgotten Runes holders, of course. And then, let's say like NFTX, right? One of the things people are concerned about is that this airdrop ends up like ApeCoin. So if you recall, what happened with ApeCoin was someone wrote a smart contract that swept, I don't know exactly what it was. It was like they swept all of the apes in NFTX, claimed all the airdrops in one fell swoop, and then I don't know exactly, but it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars that they earned in ApeCoin for doing that. And well, people don't want that to happen here. One of the things you'll notice actually is that I don't think any of our partner collections have um, a lot of tokens in NFTX. So I just don't think that's going to be a problem. So like for every partner, there's a limited number of treats, and there are far fewer than that number of treats in NFTX. So I just am not that worried about it, as I guess what I'm saying.
Yep, me too. It's only a 4-day event. So yeah, that's that. Merlin asks, is anything you can hint on with the pony or the spawn roadmap? Um, uh, no. uh, honestly, to be honest, we really don't have anything super solidly planned at this moment. But I mean, there's always been talks of like pony racing and pony breeding. These tokens were given away for free, so they're not necessarily at the top of any priority list. I think the Runiverse game was talking about potentially incorporating them as mounts. I don't know, Doda, can you say anything more on that?
Yep. Yeah, I think that's on like the roadmap. I don't know that mounts are in day one, but they're for sure on the roadmap for the Runiverse game. And then I think for Beast Spawn, I'm like the play to earn crypto board game we're working on. Beasts are a huge component. They're a main player of this game. And well, I think there might be a role for Beast Spawn, maybe, but maybe not. I might have to wait for season 2. But yeah, so I think those would be the most roadmap we have for ponies and Spawn at the moment.
Cool. And then let's see, Matatsuki, and then the Bear and Court are both asking questions about the names in the Warriors collection. For example, some of the Warriors have name structures like the ponies, and then another group of heads has just a weird name structure that is applied to it and it alone. The Mendicants, for example. You know what, guys? The Quantum Shadow works in weird ways, even to our collection. Sometimes weird shit just happens that we honestly have no idea how it happens. So all the collections still have secrets that like sometimes surprise me. I don't know, Dota. Do you want anything say anything about that?
I think that Ella the Sassy in particular was named by someone on the Magic Machine team. But yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of randomness in the gen, so anything could happen.
The Quantum Shadow works in mysterious ways. Reptar is asking about Show Alpha. At this point, I would just say that the legacy entertainment industry is fucking slow. Um, you know, this is a thing that we talked about in the very beginning, where like Magic Machine can kind of work as fast as our own bodies will allow us to, but when we engage third party partners, like so much depends on them and their pace of rolling things out. So yeah, I mean it is definitely slower than we would have liked. However, that said, Derek has he actually turned in a bunch of writing just today that I can't wait to look over. Yeah, I mean that's really the most I can say about the show. I don't know if Bear, Doda, you guys want to say anything?
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think as Dota says, we set our own speed limit when we can, and usually that speed limit is like 200 miles an hour on stuff that we can do internally. I think with the show stuff, the most important thing to know is that like Derek is fully engaged. We're developing this thing. Everybody's feeling really good about it. Everybody we talk to about it feels really good about it. And yeah, I don't necessarily think we have like a timeline for like an official update. Although I do think in the next 3 months we should have a lot of some more clarity around that. So yeah, let's just leave it at that.
Cool. And I know a few people wanted to come up. We have a special guest we'll invite up later. But I know the Damn Pirate Society and then Meeple. I know that you wanted to come up and say something. But the Damned Pirate Society, what's up?
Hi guys, how you doing? I've just said apologies for my accent if you can't understand me, but yeah, hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah, we can
hear you fine. Your accent is nothing to be ashamed of.
No,
don't apologize.
It's usually Americans struggle to understand me, especially if I start talking quickly. So I'll try keep it slow.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, talk at 0.5.
So yeah, thanks for having us, guys. Just wanted to pop up and say that I'm sure some of you have seen it. We've created a Pixelverse based on our own sprites, but we've integrated the cult sprites as well. And we just want people to jump on and maybe come and play a game of dice with people and hang about really, and just offering a different place for wizards to sort of hang until the Runiverse comes out.
Amazing. Yeah, I haven't dug too deeply into the Damn Pirate Society myself, but the screenshots that I've seen just look incredible.
Yeah,
the art's really clean. Y'all are super talented.
Yeah, we're really happy with it, and it's starting to come together now. And the artwork for the main collection, which the sprites are based off, is obviously done by Oz, who's unbelievable. Everyone knows that. And yeah, we've got a new collection come out, but I don't want to shill it too much. But keep an eye out for the artwork because that's another level.
Very cool.
Amazing. And so, like, how far out are you until you'll be able to like have folks jump in it and walk around?
Well, it's actually live now, so we've only got one mini game at the moment, just to sort of show proof of concept, and we've left it as sort of a Web 2 based game at the moment, just so we can build a bit of trust and let people play without having to connect the wallets. Obviously, that's quite scary for everybody. But yeah, it's live now if anyone wants to jump in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Drop the link in Discord if you'd like. People can jump in. And one of the things that I really love is you have the like ambient sound. So like what is it? Proximity sound, right? So like, as you're walking around the world, all of a sudden like this music fades in and then you realize, oh, I'm like right by the tavern. And so I really love like just the life that kind of like that little tweak of things getting louder when you're closer to it just feels so fun.
Yep.
Yeah, again, that's something that when you're sort of playing a game, you want to get that immersion that you are somewhere, you're in a different environment. So the positional based audio was something we wanted to at least get in, even if it's not perfect yet, just so that, yeah, like you said, when you go to different areas and different rooms to speak to different people, you'll hopefully get that feeling that and associate that type of music with that character.
And then who's the team behind that game?
So we've basically got a small game studio who are basically a Web 2 game studio. They're building that. We've got Niski on the team as sort of advisor and building some of the contracts. He'll be working on our minting contracts, which is coming up at the end of the month. So he's going to be fairly busy, I suspect, with you guys as well.
Yeah, he's busy.
And then the main artwork being done by Oz for the next collection. So yeah, we've got a small team, but working quite hard.
Cool. And then are you guys going to have a mint once you're like all ready?
Yeah, so we've basically done the mint for his first collection last year, so we've sort of been up and running for a year, and we've had an on-chain game which has done over 1 million transactions on a smaller chain. So that's been running for a while, and we're dropping the next collection, same game on Arbitrum Nova, and it's sort of play to earn, sort of play to own. But yeah, any other questions that people have, they can always jump in, and we've got a Git book that we've just finished as well. So
cool. Well, that sounds great. I mean, I would love to see any of the URLs to that. Drop them in the secret tower, and I'm sure people can check it out.
Yeah, I will do. And thanks for having me up, guys. And like I said, I hope everyone can understand me.
Yeah,
we got you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Radagast.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Meeple, what up?
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
What's up?
How's it going?
How you doing, Meeple?
Good.
Little family, little falling asleep at dinner time, upset children. You know how it is. Never a dull moment. Amazing to see everybody. I just wanted to jump up and say good evening and clue everybody in. The Runiverse game has partnered with the Weekly Wizard Workshop, which runs Thursday evenings, Eastern Standard at 9 o'clock. And we're doing spooky workshops all month. So we've been reading some soul lore. We've been talking about spooky stuff. And I've been teasing our super secret special guest who's coming on tomorrow evening. And I'll give the dramatic reveal. It's Alf!
Wait, who is it?
It's Alf!
Oh.
Alf's going to come and hang out and talk spooky stories with us.
That was a very dramatic reveal.
I left my drum kit at home, so
Yeah.
such is life. But yeah, Matatsuki has been really, really awesome at hosting these last couple of weeks, and we've got, Matatsuki's got the Runiverse team, the Runiverse game team has this contest going. So if you head on over to their Discord and see, it's a bit of a storytelling contest that's happening there. So write some spooky stories, then come on the Weekly Wizard Workshop and read them and win a POAP and some other fun stuff. So really excited about diving into it.
Can't wait.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Meeple.
Of
PBA.eth, what's up?
Hey guys, how's it
Hey.
going? Thank you guys. Well, first I want to say thanks to you guys for always hosting this space. I've been a little MIA the last few months, but working my way back slowly but surely. Super excited to hear everybody's voice. It's invigorating, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm getting flashbacks on FTNYC right now.
Yeah, I remember hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
You just got a gig. Did you just get a gig, PBA? Are you working with Tolan?
I'll speak about that real short. I'm going to keep it short and brief. Well, first of all, I owe everyone an airdrop who collected the NFT NYC posters that I made earlier this year, and I'll be burning all of those later tonight and then airdropping something by tomorrow or later this week to everybody who collected. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's been supportive. I mean, honestly, this path I've been on, storytelling and lore, has been hugely indebted to not only Forgotten Runes, but also Crypto Coven. But both these collections have been super centralized around world building, and I'm super grateful to you guys. It's been amazing. And then second, Yes, I recently joined Tolan Worlds this week.
Cool.
Actually, the founder is in this chat, MKX Michael, and I'll be working with the creative, dev, and communities teams moving forward. And this Friday, we have our first adventure launching on Friday, which I've had the good fortune of playing and demoing, which is a really cool game. Obviously, everyone here is into RPGs and like top-down pixelated games, and that's exactly what you'll have. It's open to everybody to test out and play. You get to kill some things might kill you, but I definitely recommend it. You know, obviously everyone here is like super amped up for the Runiverse game. We're all looking forward to it, and this is like a cool thing which will feel like reminiscent of it, and like kind of like the path that we all like grew up on, like these kind of like storytelling, kind of hack and slash, spell casting, RPG, D&D elements. So yeah, just check out Tolan Worlds on Friday. Everything launches. We'll have a few teasers. We'll drop some art today. I'll be working with the comics as well, and probably doing the comics kind of in my style, which I know some of you are a fan of.
Yeah.
But that was it. And look forward to like more art from me. Like just because I'm part of Tolan Worlds does not mean I'm gonna stop creating for Forgotten Runes. Like I'm about to go into acceleration mode. We're in the fourth quarter right now, you know? It's like the fourth quarter of like the NBA finals. So fourth quarter of the year, everyone's got to be on their A game, because this is like when everything shows up for the next year. But I thank you for the space. I'm going to tune to the rest of the show, and I appreciate you guys so much. Like, much love. Thank you.
Yeah, much love to you. Really appreciate everything that you do, and I just really love that your work. I found that I've even been inspired to learn Blender this year because in part of the work that you've created, of like how you're able to kind of like turn those 3D scenes into just like, well, for example, the poster for NFT NYC was just incredible. So yeah, we love everything you've created, and then. Of course, Tolan Worlds has been around for a while, and love those guys. And I know that some people on our team even got to try some of the demo this week, and they had just really good things to say about it. So I didn't actually get to try this most recent version, but I'm like, yeah, really looking forward to it. It's really fun.
Damn, you didn't get exclusive access? Wow, can't believe it.
I think I was offered it, but I've just been so heads down with Halloween. I missed like a lot of meetings this week by accident.
Fair enough.
Michael came in from Tolan to the office to the Bear Cave to visit me and Nalgene, I don't know, like a month or two ago. And
amazing.
What a great guy.
Cool.
Really just like, it's coming from the heart, and he's clearly a great builder, and it's awesome.
He's only 21 years old, might add. He's only 21. I'm like,
it's
what?
Upsetting. I know, it's upsetting. He's so smart and young. I hate him. I love him.
Speaking of hating him, I think I'm letting him up on stage.
Well, then I'll retract that statement. I don't hate you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say quickly that it was nice being in the Bear Cave. It was an interesting. This is not how I imagined it, honestly. I'm Michael from Tolan Worlds, by the way.
Wait! Let's dig in. What were your expectations, and then what was it?
I didn't expect
more
like a panorama glasses in a cave.
Yeah.
Like window. It's just like
more laser beams.
Kinda. At least some traps,
Right. It's like hidden in a waterfall next to a volcano.
Exactly.
We're working towards that.
All right. Let me know when it's ready.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, Bear, step up your interior design game.
I know. I thought I had it on lock. We got two posters framed, and then we just sort of let it go after that.
Yeah. Less LA and more layer.
Yeah. Okay. I'll get to work.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, PVA. There's two big things that I want to hit on today, which is the comic, and then I want to dive into a little bit of lore talk, which I want to do more often on Wizard Wednesday. Maybe let's do the comic, for which we have a special guest. Joe. Oh, there's Joe. I'm going to invite him up. There he is. While Joe is on his way up here, let me just give a little intro. So over the weekend, I went pretty deep into issues 1 through 4. Joe's our comic writer, by the way. So far, he has submitted, I think, all the way up to issue 6. And yeah, like I said, I went through 1 through. I've been through 1 through 4. and I'm just really falling in love with the comic, and I just want to talk briefly about why the comic is so awesome and it's so important to what we're doing. Um, Honestly, like the main reason is the comic is such a strong, tangible, real life proof of concept. Um, because one of the North Stars that Forgotten Runes is is this idea that we at Magic Machine will take cult content, mostly from the Book of Lore, and put it into these larger media expressions like the TV show, the comic, the games, etc. And to date, we have done that only in the trailer and in issue 0. But beyond those two things, this has really just been like an aspiration for the future. But now that I've read issues 1 through 4, I can see that this aspiration is becoming a reality. Um, this concept is working really well. And I always knew it would work, but there have been some people who have expressed maybe a little bit of skepticism on how we would be able to feature so many disconnected stories from a decentralized community into a singular large media expression. They always want to know how will you establish continuity? How will you make coherent stories? How will you fit all this content into these things? And so, after this first round of comics, I can just confidently hold up a handful of physically printed books and say, here, this is how. Thumb through these pages and look at how many community members' content is featured here. I can tell you right now, like just these first few issues, I'm estimating there's like 20 to 30 separate wizards who have been referenced in just these first issues. These references are anything from like full mainline stories to brief cameos to little in jokes to just simple lines of dialogue. But there's the whole gamut of cult content in these books, and it's just great because so often tech startups they have a grand vision and they have to sell that vision with only words or pitch decks or hopes and dreams, but nobody actually knows if these ideas will work in the real world. But for me, this comic is a tangible, real world proof that our grand vision works. And we have several physical books to prove it. So at this point, I just want to bring up our comic writer, Joe, to thank him in helping us make this grand vision reality. So, Joe, welcome to Wizard Wednesday.
Thank you, Elf. It is
Uh,
great to be here, and it is awesome to hear how excited you are about the comic. I'm just as excited as you are.
Yeah, it's I just again I read through these first four issues and I had a smile on my face the whole time. And I said this to you the other day, but like the deeper I got into these issues, the more I felt like you were totally understanding Forgotten Runes, what we're all about, the Book of Lore. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. So I mean, I've been working on this with you guys roughly for about a year now, and for a majority of that time, it was just an outline phase, and we kind of had our main storylines figured out. Um, but you had, you guys had wanted to inject as much lore as possible, and you kept telling me like, "Can you fit more wizards in? Can you fit more wizards in?" And I mean, you mentioned you were a little doubtful, and there's been some skepticism of whether it's possible, and I was a little skeptical. I was like, I already have my my story figured out. How am I going to cram all of these other wizards into here?
Yeah.
Um, and it, like you said, as I've been writing, as I wrote the first issue and then the next one and the next one, I started to get into the world. I started to get into the flow, and as I dug more and more into the book of lore, the more I saw how you really created this like collection of action figures, and it's really fun to just pick up a few action figures off the shelf and play with them.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And I know that that like as soon as we implemented the search feature into the Book of Lore, like that radically changed your process, right?
That was crucial for me, honestly,
Yeah.
because early on I would just be flipping through the Book of Lore, like hitting the arrow key, next page, next page, next page, which was interesting because I would see all this lore that was cool and fascinating and fun, but like not very helpful for my purposes because I was looking for specific things, wizards that could fit into specific scenarios for specific purposes.
Yep.
And now that there's this search feature, it's way easier to just plug in a keyword of the general thing I'm looking for, and boom, I've got a dozen options of varying lore, and I can kind of comb through and pick the wizard that's the best fit.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's like it's one thing I've been talking about in the past few months is how do we select wizards to put into these comics or the show or whatever? And I think like the main thing I just want to let drive that is just pure creativity. I don't necessarily want to like select like prominent community members all the time. I don't want the cult to become cliquish in that way. I just want the creativity to drive the creativity. And so like what I think is working is like you're writing the story first, and then maybe you're like, okay, I need a wizard that has, I don't know, some adventures in the desert. So let me look up desert stories. And so you can just easily type that in and find the character that you need, right? So the creativity is driving the creativity, it seems like.
Precisely. And also, but besides just the search function, being able to sort by lore with images is really helpful because if I come across a wizard with like just a few images and no actual text, sometimes less is more because then I can
Yep.
really an image like that can really inspire a whole scene that maybe wouldn't have been written about in the Book of Lore, but that I can then kind of flesh out and plug into the comic book in an interesting way.
For sure. Yeah. It's cliche to say, but a picture truly is worth 1,000 words.
It honestly is.
Yeah. So, hint, this is a clue to include pictures into your Book of Lore entries. Um, but yeah, Joe, I just love how much Book of Lore content you're including in the stories. As I was reading your scripts, it made even I had to like start diving into the Book of Lore, and damn, the Book of Lore is just getting huge. There's like almost 4,000 entries in there.
There's over
And
4,000 entries.
yeah, over 4,000, and it's like there's so much good content in there. I cannot believe it. Joe, do you have like any standout lore stories, like just off the top of your head, that you want to mention?
The first that comes to mind for me is I was looking for wizards that had come into contact with Magus Wazir, and I found the lore for this guy. What's his name? I just had him up. I had the lore for this pyromancer.
Was it a kobold pyromancer?
Yeah. But anyway, the thing about his lore that kind of grabbed me was that it had been split into 3 short chapters. They weren't long, and they were kind of like epistolary fiction. The first chapter was a press release, and the second chapter was a news article, and the third chapter was a police report.
That's awesome.
And it was just like a really creative way to lay out this short snippet. I mean, Elf and Bear used to work with me. They know I have some pretty juvenile taste and humor.
It's true.
And this lore just featured a classic prank being pulled on the Dream Masters of Dream Master Lake. That had me literally laughing out loud. Let me pull up the name of the wizard now so I can do them justice.
Yeah, awesome.
While you're finding it, I do want to say how fantastic it is to be working together again. I know Joe mentioned, but Alf, myself, and Joe, we made a bunch of stuff a long time ago, and it was a pleasure back then. It's a pleasure now. So
Yeah.
it's just so great to be working with people that you have a lot of respect for, and that we've just known each other for so long. So happy to have you, and the scripts really are just coming alive.
Thank you. Couldn't agree more, guys. When this project first came around and I was taking a look, part of what drew me to it was knowing how you guys just don't half-ass anything, and how you guys are gonna always put in 200% and just knock it out of the park.
No, I appreciate you saying that. One more thing, you've been working as a writer for a while, and when we brought you on, we were like, hey, you want to write a comic? And you were like, yeah. And then the next thing I had to tell you was, okay, but this is a new thing called decentralized storytelling, and we had to sort of brief you on what all that meant, and maybe I don't know, you tell me, was that something sort of, I don't know, difficult to wrap your head around in the beginning and just figure out how to do?
Well, that's what I think is so cool about this project is that, I mean, you guys know, you were probably laughing at me earlier this afternoon because I'm crypto illiterate. I don't have any idea what I'm doing with crypto.
Yeah, Joe tried to get us to send a wizard to his Coinbase account.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So when you first were telling me about this, I had heard of NFTs. I kind of understood the concept of NFTs, but every NFT project I had seen, I either didn't understand or I didn't see the value.
Yeah.
And as soon as you guys explained this to me, I don't know if it's my background with playing Magic the Gathering or my background playing Dungeons and Dragons, but as soon as you were you buy a wizard, you own the wizard, you come up with that character's backstory, but the world itself exists outside, I just fully understood it immediately. I think you sent me an email that said collaborative legendarium, and
Yeah.
I was like sold. That's all I need to hear. It sounds so cool. Sign me up.
Awesome. That's great, Joe. Yeah, well, I'm so glad that you're on board, and I've been loving your scripts, and yeah, I guess the next issue is, I don't know, Bear. When's the next issue coming out?
The next issue, we don't have a date because I'm trying to get some stuff done first. But Q1 next year, I bet. Q1 next year.
Okay.
Just for the record, I want to shout out whoever wrote the lore for Pyromancer Jamil of the Quantum Downs is the wizard I was thinking of.
Awesome.
Lovely. Oh, and also, Joe, you should plug some of your stuff. Didn't you have didn't a movie you wrote get filmed this year?
Last year, thank you, Vera. Yeah, last year I had a horror movie I wrote, produced by Tubi, the free streaming service. And it's a horror movie, so it's October, and if you want to check it out, it's free on Tubi. It's called Unborn, and it's a little bit of a Hallmark horror movie, so you might laugh more than you scream, but you're going to have a good time.
When can we watch it?
It's out right now.
Okay, sweet. I'm watching it. I'm getting Tubi, and I'm watching it.
Awesome, Joe. Cool. Anything else about the comic? Meeple, did you want to say something?
Yeah. I'll just say, Joe, anytime you want to come play D&D with the cult, we've got a few different D&D groups going. You'd be welcome to join us. And for anyone who wants to enjoy the book of lore through a different medium, I know not all of us have time to sit and read, but all of the recent readings we've done are up on the Cult Community podcast. And you can check those out in audio form while you're driving or walking to work or whatever. So link that in the Secret Tower. It's the same podcast I've been doing for a while, so just rebranded as the Cult Community Cast, so you can listen to the Book of Lore.
Amazing. Hen Boyd, I see you connecting. There's Hen Boyd. What up, Hen?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to pop in real quick and discuss something that we've been working on since we had this discussion with the lore and the comic book and everything. A few months ago, Magus Wazir sent out a tweet about a community lore project for a token that he picked up. And basically, what the plan is to take this token and write a story on him and pass it to community members. You don't have to own a wizard or a warrior. It's just something that we're trying as an experiment to get people familiar with Forgotten Runes and to utilize their storytelling skills. We have a current Discord thread that we've been communicating on for the last few months. And Delta Mouse is the current token holder. The token is 1204. It's called Murphy of Goblins. Been kind of referencing them in the Secret Tower, but it's kind of an experiment. We're just passing this token on and getting the story bigger and bigger. I did the first lore entry. Y Sam is on this, artists, Magus Wazir, and Delta Mouse, and we're looking for some more folks because we need to get the story continued. So if you're interested, I will post a link on the Sacred Tower, or you can just DM me. But that's just a little side project that Wazir's experimenting with, and it's going great so far. Thanks.
Fun. Which wizard was that, by the way?
It's a warrior Murphy of Goblins, 1204.
Got it. Yeah, got it.
That sounds super fun, actually. Awesome. Thanks, guys. So Dotta, I've got some lore stuff I wanted to talk about, but did you want to say anything about your experience last week?
Yeah. So, all right. So we're inviting a lot of people to trick or treat, and one of the things that we're trying to do is just like get involved more in some of the other projects that we're inviting to trick or treat. So, the for the projects that we invited, basically it was really tough to kind of narrow it down to just 10 communities, right? Because we're giving away NFT tokens for both. Tricks and treats, and of course, the problem is we don't want to give away so many tokens that the supply is ridiculous, right? So we just picked the top 10 communities by all-time volume on OpenSea, which actually was a pretty good proxy for like some of the holders that we would love to have be part of the cult. And so one of the things that the trick or treat event will do is hopefully get kind of the attention of people who are involved in these other projects. I think there's been a time earlier in the year in our community where maybe we feel that we don't have a lot of overlap with kind of the people who buy into these bigger collections, and then we know that they would like what we're doing here. So yeah, so I actually picked up a moonbird this week, and I tweeted about it, and it was really fun. And I picked up a moonbird that was that there was actually a moonbird that had sold for 50 ETH about 6 months ago, and I picked it up for 15, and it was like a Zelda moonbird. I don't know if they call it Robin Hoots or whatever. And I really love it. So I am obsessed with Zelda Link to the Past, by the way. So like I want to build like I want to build like rebuild some like Zelda Link to the Past, but like in Forgotten Runes. So that's like a goal of mine eventually. I love that game so much, and so I really just love Zelda. It's such an inspiration for everything we're doing here. So when I saw that moonbird and I knew that I wanted to get into that community, I that was the one I picked up. And so yeah, well, so it's a huge project. It's a huge project, right? It's like a blue chip kind of like top 10 project. Um, you know, I, so for context for me, like I feel like this past year, as we've been running Forgotten Runes, I haven't had as much chance to like trade NFTs. And I think that what happens is the industry has moved so fast that like if you're not really digging into like some of these other blue chips and seeing what they're doing, you maybe are like falling behind. So yeah, anyway, it's something we've all been talking about, right? Like, Yumi and Bear have been talking about, well, maybe we should buy a Nizuki, maybe we should buy a Doodle, maybe we should get a Punk, all these things. And I think eventually we will. So yeah, so I bought a Moonbird. One of the interesting things about Proof is that you don't have access to their Discord unless you're a token holder. And so I had like very high kind of expectations. I posted, oh, I got a Moonbird, and I got, a lot of really good engagement on Twitter, of course. I joined the Moonbird server and got a really warm welcome with everyone there. They were really friendly up front because I'd kind of joined. But then, like right away, actually, I noticed there was a little bit of kind of there was a little bit of like salt over the fact that I'd picked up a Moonbird that had sold for 50 ETH 6 months ago for 15. Because what that basically, like, I'm very excited because I feel like, oh, it's up only for here, right? Like, it's a bad time in the market. Like, everyone's down. What a great time to get a good deal. And when I showed up, I basically walked into a discussion where people were feeling a bit um, dejected, and they were feeling a bit bearish. And it was so interesting because I know that with our little community, when we we really focus on lore, not floor. But if you dig into some of the channels where we kind of like get into the discussion about like the crypto market, you hear a bit of like skittishness where it's like, oh, we don't have enough whales, or we don't have enough this, or we're getting passed over, or whatever. So I'm in the Moonbirds chat, and like they're having the exact same conversations. Exact same. They're looking up at Azukis, and they're like, "Oh, this Spirit Azuki just sold for 100 ETH. How come we haven't sold a Moonbird for 100 ETH? Oh, we need to get the whales active in here." And then literally someone posts like, "It's really too bad that this project is so slept on." And they're like, they like all like you all of the exact same sentiment of like kind of that you'd see it from us from time to time, where you feel like, oh, the whales are passing over us, this project is ignored, nobody knows about this project. That's what they were talking, that's how they were talking in the Moonbird server. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is a top 10 project of all time. I named, and I said this in the chat. I was like, the, I couldn't believe the bear sentiment. Oh, and another thing too was that there, okay, one of the things I'm so grateful for about Forgotten Runes is that we are working together to create something, right? That like it's really well understood that like for Forgotten Runes to kind of achieve its goals, every one of us is like creating something new. And like of course, Elf and Bear and I have our role, and Magic Machine has their role, but like the feeling as a community is we're doing this all together. The feeling that I got from the Moonbirds chat, and again, whatever, I have a Moonbird. I'm not trying to dig on anyone, but I'm just like trying to compare and contrast. Was very much like, what is the team going to do for me? We've been staking our Moonbirds. What is that KRO is the acronym they use for Kevin Rose. And they're like, what is KRO and team going to do for us? Like, what are they going to do to get us in we're only a top 10 project. What are they going to do to get us to be a top 3? And this is just like a lot of like entitlement around, and then in terms of like the content too that I was seeing there's a lot of like borderline kind of gifts and stuff that I like wouldn't allow in Forgotten Runes Discord. Like I was expecting something that was more family friendly, like we are, and it was actually quite a lot like some of the boiler room like crypto groups that I've been a part of. So all that to say, I'm not trying to moderate their Discord. They can choose kind of their own community standards and the people that they want to take part, of course. But it just surprised me a little bit to kind of see sort of one the sheepishness and the bearishness about the market. Two, kind of the like content guidelines were a lot like crypto tokens. It was like very financially motivated. And then three, really just like seeing kind of the entitlement for the team rather than like feeling the sense, you think because it's a CC0, they have like such a sense of like well, that like anyone can build on the IP, so to speak. And so, well, that's just a compare and contrast between the two projects. Like I'm still bullish on Moonbirds. Of course, the team is excellent and they're doing great things, but well, I would rather be a founder and a part of this community even more. It just made me appreciate everyone here so much and everything we're trying to do. So
yeah, I will. I'm not going to talk about Moonbirds, but I am going to talk about the cult and one thing I love. Bear and I gave an interview yesterday, maybe, or the day before, and one of the questions was, something about like, what kind of cult is this? And I said, I said, I said, look, yes, we are a cult, but here's the main distinguishing feature. Every other cult in history has had a thick layer of dogma that every cult member must adhere to, and they must also follow a leader, no matter how crazy or uh, disastrous that leader may be. Every cult member looks to that leader to follow. And Forgotten Runes is pretty much the exact opposite. Forgotten Runes encourages you to be your own leader, to be yourself, to put your mark on the world, and to put your rune on the door. And that's pretty much the guiding ethos of our so-called cult, which is to be your own leader and to put your rune on the door. It's because to me this is what makes NFTs different from fungible tokens, which is a fungible token. You are at the whim of market forces to decide the value of your token. But in Forgotten Runes, you are in total control of your token. You decide your token's destiny because you are the leader of yourself and your character. So yeah, I think that maybe these other projects are more cult-like in the form of traditional cults, where they rely on a leader to
Right.
take charge. And I don't know. Sorry, go ahead, Dotta.
No, I agree. Yeah. Like there's a lot of projects that are looking for a cult of personality, and they're looking for like a leader to kind of save them, right? Is
Yeah.
that like, oh, this other person is in charge. I bought in as like an investor in this project, and then someone else is going to save me. And oh, and I think one other thing too, I made two mistakes when I tweeted about Moonbird specifically. One is that I used the word, I said that's kind of toxic. I think I wouldn't use that word again. I actually don't apologize for that. I stand behind it insofar as like some of the stuff that was said was well, like I don't think I was wrong, but I don't think I would tweet it again. I think I would say that they were very abrasive, which is also very true. There are some sub parliaments that were way more friendly. I met a lot of really nice people. Like, I'm not trying to paint the whole community a particular way. I think I came on a bad day. And then the other thing too is I actually tweeted out a screenshot of someone in Discord, and I didn't fuzz out their name, and it was almost like it came across to that person that I was like naming and shaming, which I didn't mean to do that at all. And so I actually think one of my principles is like, don't tweet out a screenshot of like something critical about someone with their name attached, unless you're purposely trying to like name and shame. And like, definitely was not trying to do that in this case. It was, they'd mentioned something that I thought was humorous, where they said, uh, in Moonbirds they have this nesting program where you stake your Moonbird, and then they give you merch over time. And someone said, I wonder what the gold nesting rewards are, which are like coming out today, which is like if you've been nesting, staking for this whole 6 months. And someone said, well, the team said it was going to be fun, so don't get your expectations too high. And then someone else said, I forget exactly. They're like, every time a team says that something is going to be fun, it like knocks a year's of profits off the price or something. Like they like just hate when the team talks about having fun. And then I tweeted out, oh, compare like with how we tweeted about a month ago, which is like, the greatest compliment that you can get for an idea in the Magic Machine Discord is like, Elf telling you, oh, that's really fun. And so it was just like this. For me, it wasn't that I was trying to say that person was being toxic. It was just sort of saying like, look at the difference of the mindsets between these two communities. So yeah. So all that to say, I think, I like the cult.
I like the cult too. I just want to I want to elaborate on that leadership comment I made just a second ago, though.
Yeah.
I did call us like a leaderless cult, but that is not to say that Dotta or Bear or I are not going to play our role. And if anything, I see our role as empowering the rest of our community to take charge and put their runes on the door, and push their cult content into these larger media expressions, and building tools and features that allow you to do all of this. So, leaderless, but we are certainly here enthusiastically to help the cult along and guide it where I think it needs to go. But yeah, we've only got like 5 minutes left. Man, I swear, sometimes.
Yeah, how is it? How is it 2:54 right now? That's
I know
insane.
you had a whole thing you were going to talk about with like lore and hat colors, and I don't know if you want to do that today or save it for next week because we haven't even touched cult content.
I know. There's so much good cult content as well. You know what? We've got 5 minutes. I think I can fit this in.
Okay.
Yeah, just because it's a thing that I've been seeing discussed a lot in the Discord, and I just want to address it, which is just I want to clarify some of the lore around the hat colors and you know why we've said the things we've said about them. So yeah, you know, as we've talked about before, there's 7 main political factions that operate in the Runiverse, and they are distinguished by hat color. Um, and just FYI, the warriors as well can adhere to these 7 political factions if they want. But the reason I put them in there is because they are a great storytelling tool. So, you know, when you write about a character, you need to know that character's backstory, their history, their hopes, dreams, aspirations, and goals. And you need to know these things because when you're writing about that character, this is the information you use to tell you how they act in any given situation. And so same thing applies to worlds. When you're building a world and when you're creating a world, you need to know that world's history and geography and the cultures and the politics of that world. Because honestly, perhaps one of the primary forces that affect a world is its geopolitics. This applies in the real world, and this applies in fictional worlds. Politics obviously have a profound implication on how societies behave, and thus how individual characters behave, or at least the daily challenges that are thrown at them. You know, if you study world history, you're essentially just studying politics, the politics of the conquerors and the leaders and the rulers of their time. So I just wanted to supply some of that seed of creation to the Runiverse with these 7 factions. Now, even though we've put this out there, it is totally up to you as the creator whether you want to use this information or not. You know, if we look at the real world, most people don't directly acknowledge the political influences on their lives. In fact, many outright detest politics, and I totally understand that. I would expect that many wizards and warriors in the universe are the same. So again, you know, I'm only putting this out there as possible pieces of information that you can play with. Furthermore, the hat colors on your characters are not meant to be rigid structures that your characters must adhere to. If your wizard's hat is red, but you find the red hat culture and politics not to your liking, then your red hat is merely a fashion statement and nothing more. But you know, to me, what is interesting about these 7 factions is they are archetypes of human organization. They are descriptions not necessarily of individual humans, but of groups or cults, if you will. They are archetypes of the principles around which groups of humans form cultures. Um, and so I'll just dive into one example real quick, since I just mentioned the Red Hats. You know, this is a culture that organizes around the love of money and finance. Examples of this culture are like Wall Street, or frankly, a huge chunk of the crypto community, like Finance Bros. Um, you know, there's people, especially in the United States, who believe that capitalism and free market dynamics are the most virtuous expression of any human society. And this is the organizing principle around which the Red Hats adhere to. The Red Wizard capital city is governed by these principles on the Runiverse map. Um, and so then, of course, these principles can trickle down into individual characters as well. And so let me give you an example. Well, okay, so you can find virtuous examples and you can find very sinful examples of this mindset. A virtuous example would be like Bruce Wayne of Batman. Um, this is a mortal man who essentially his superpower is his wealth. He uses his unlimited wealth to create amazing tech and fight crime. Without his wealth, Batman would just be like an amazing detective who probably works at the Gotham PD to earn a paycheck. But it's his wealth that's really just transformed who he is and allows him to be a superhero. Another maybe example would be like the Crawleys from Downton Abbey. Though, you could probably argue that they are more defined by their aristocratic tradition more than they are the wealth itself. But then if you look for some like ugly, sinful, amoral examples of this, these examples are myriad. Patrick Bateman from American Psycho is a great example. This is a man who is so depraved by his relentless pursuit of capitalistic materialism that he totally loses his grip on reality and becomes a sadistic serial killer. Another great example is the Lannisters from Game of Thrones, who is a family who defines themselves primarily through their wealth and pretty much at the expense of all else. So that's a little bit about the Red Hats. Again, all the hat colors have a really distinct political ideas and cultures. So, but yeah, I just, I'll spend more time talking about those things in depth in other Wizard Wednesdays. But I wanted to clarify just the why of why these political factions are out there. Just, it's a great storytelling tool. We needed something to some backstory on the Runiverse itself. And again, the Runiverse is a reflection of the real world. So all these factions are just like archetypes that I've just pulled out that I think a lot of organizations and societies organize themselves around. But yeah, I hope that clarified any confusion that I saw in the Discord the other day. We can definitely dive into it more next Wizard Wednesday. But besides that, I also really want to shout out some cult content. I don't know, Dotta or Bear, did you guys want to say anything else?
Sharon signed up to read some lore, so we should let her close. I think that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah, love it. Yes, I definitely want to have more lore readings on Wizard Wednesday.
So yeah, Sharon, if you're here, request to come up, and we'll call you up while we go over some cult content.
Yep,
I wanted to shout out for cult content this Heroes of Cumberland game. What the freak? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, fun.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I know. It is amazing. Okay, another piece of amazing cult content that has been sitting on Twitter for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks now that I have not called out was our boy Derek eating a donut with no hands and setting the world record. Did you guys see that?
I did. I tried to like make it a thing. I wanted to see videos of just everybody eating donuts as fast as they possibly could. So we're gonna figure that out. We're gonna have to have like an official donut day. And
No, but I mean that one, like it's something that nobody asked for, but now I can't get enough of it. It was just a beautiful feat of human ability. So well done, Derek. I hope nobody ever breaks your record, and if they do, I'm sure you can beat it. Another really just standout piece of cult content was from marcofine.eth. Just beautiful character designs. I just can't get enough of this style. It's like I want to see a whole derivative collection in this style. Bear, Dotta, I'm sure you guys saw those.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. There
So
has
good.
to be. We have to do something with that. We need to get into the DMs here and figure that out. It was beautiful.
Yeah, really good stuff. And then speaking of other derivative collections that I want to see, mmmaze.eth did Jitsy's Kobold as like I guess it's called Forgotten Toads.
Oh, so good.
So good. I just love the derivative collections. And then of course Tanya has continued her epic run with Inktober. Just more excellent, stunning content that always puts a smile on my face. She even found time to fit in an additional piece that I don't even know if it's part of the official Inktober, but it's of us three, like huddling around some like fire. I'm sure you guys saw that.
Hopefully
I
that's not
loved it.
that's not a foreshadowing of us like homeless by a fire.
I love that piece because it's starting to make Dota look cooler. And I think, yeah, I like this Dota with the sharp teeth as a monster.
I'm glad that you think that this version is the one that makes you look cool.
I'm just saying it's better than the other ones. I mean, the eyes, you know.
And then someone posted the three-headed dragon meme. Oh, it was too
Oh
good.
man,
It was
that
too
was really disappointing.
good.
um,
Can we shout out the song from Magus, Pixar of the Hills?
Oh
Oh.
yeah,
See
no,
this?
no, I've got it on my list. But yeah, let's jump to Magus Ixar. No, Magus Ixar did two excellent pieces this week. Yes, the one this like amazing music video with like the drumming and the dancing and the cat smoking a pipe and just like so much cult content worked into this
Yeah,
amazing
a
music
lot,
piece.
a
I
lot
was
going
vibing
on.
on that. I'll be honest. I listened to that like 2 or 3 times in a row.
Yeah, it's very catchy. Well done, Magus Ixar. And then not only that, but he also Magus Ixar is the one who he won the donut sacrifice contest, and so then he did a dramatic reenaction of it. That it starts out sort of like Breaking Bad Walter White style, and then just escalates from there. So yeah, Magus Ixar, legendary wizard. Um, Another strange piece of cult content that I'm seeing floating around is like there's some Rochambeau game happening. I don't know if that's
Oh yeah,
like
what is that?
a real functioning game or is it just like a fun meme. I don't know what's going on, but it looks cool.
There's a
Um,
website, but I don't know if it's real.
okay, awesome. Castamere XB did a really nice piece of a wizard with a key. It looks like he's trying to choose a background on that. Don't know if one has been chosen, but it's a really nice piece. And then Cosmic Mage Adrian of the Forest with her warrior Joan Danger. Just more excellent artwork. Joan Danger just has so many great pieces of artwork around her. I love all of them that I see. Um, Another really cool piece that I saw was the Cabinet of Curiosities by My Friends. This is a great piece because I don't think I've seen any cult content that happens on the Carnival Pass, but apparently now there's this beautiful cabinet of curiosities sitting near the Carnival Pass. This Dota. Okay, here's a little bit of alpha. Dota has been talking a lot in the Magic Machine Discord about building this map making tool. Um, I have certainly talked in the past about how I want cult members to add to the map. So we will roll out tools on how to do that. But essentially, I really hope to see the Cabinet of Curiosities on this map. Yeah.
Oh, since you brought it up, yeah, this idea that like we have characters as like the people primitives and then beasts as as some animals, but I think really like a missing piece for us is this idea around cult content of locations, right? So we have cult content of like each character has a page in the book and you can write stories and you can write about your character and do artwork, but we need more tools around the places, right? Because we need to put our characters in places, and then after that, we'll put our characters in places in time, and then our lore tools will just be that much more powerful. So
We're building a world, y'all.
Yep.
And then Emma has two, honestly, probably more than two memes this week, but the two that stood out to me was My Little Rooney and the Roonies, which are My Little Pony and Goonies derivatives.
Those were great. Also, Sorcerer Hadrian of the Quantum Shadow with the cross Kobold and KFC. Did you see
Yes.
that? That was fantastic. It's getting me hungry. I'll be honest. Also, I did order KFC to the Bear Cave this week, and made me feel sick. It was disgusting, but it inspired me to eat some fried chicken.
Bro, you should have went with Popeyes.
I love Popeyes. Love Popeyes.
Totally. Okay, also Shaman Voidoth did an excellent, and I mean excellent, jack-o'-lantern pumpkin carving. Um, it's like what's really nice is like he retained the pixel style into this jack-o'-lantern, and it's just stunningly good. It's very complex design.
Yeah.
I have tried pumpkin carving a handful of times in my life, and I suck at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is really impressive. And then two more. Tad Major. I tell you what, I'm always seeing these little gifts that Tad Major makes, either in the Discord or on Twitter, and I feel like I'm missing so many of them. But every time I see one, they're just stunning. So yeah, yeah, Tad. I mean, always Tad's gifts are excellent. And then finally, Artsy with Daniela Lustra is working on a really nice piece of the Nightmare Imp. Perfect timing for the Trick or Treat event. So yeah, well done on that. Always excellent cult content. Speaking of cult content, we have Sharon up here.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes,
We
hi.
sure can.
Hey.
The lore I'm reading today is for Hydromancer Soren of the Psychic Leap, number 5564, and it's owned by WizDaddy.
Oh, I can't wait.
Hang on, I just lost it off my screen. Here we go. Bromley reminded his wife, Soren was born a blue. His path was chosen for him. Nergada stood in front of the home where she had been born and stared at the horizon. The purple hues faded downward from light to dark as they melted into the field of heather. A lone tear streaked down her face. You really didn't think Soren would come, did you? Bromley asked as he walked up, wiped away the tear, and then put his arms around her. You shouldn't expect what can't be. Part of me always thinks he'll show up. Nergada pressed her head on his shoulder and wept. They stood there until the darkness joined the hug, and then the coldness set them inside. Early the next morning, Nergada went to her mom's garden and dug up several snapdragons. She gently tucked them into a basket along with a trowel and headed out into the heath. The sun began to dry the mist that hung in the air, and as it did, it revealed a figure standing at her parents' grave. Nergada's face flushed as she blurted out, "What are you doing here?" Soren slowly turned around and tipped his blue hat and replied,
Hello, Nergada.
The funeral was yesterday. You missed it, just like you've missed everything.
I'm here because he was my father, too.
Her hands clutched the handle on the basket tighter. You're a day late. Stepping closer, Soren said,
I'm sorry I couldn't make it any sooner.
Why?
I can't tell you. Maybe someday.
Are you going to stay?
No, I'm sorry I can't.
When will you be back? Soren glanced back to his parents' grave and sighed.
I see you pick snapdragons.
I came here to plant them around their grave and sing them a song. Nergada walked forward. Moving out of her way, Soren studied his sister, and childhood memories washed over him. Kneeling down, Nergada took the trowel and stuck it into the ground.
You know, Nergada, Galatea looks a lot like Mom. Only time's going to tell whether that's a curse or a blessing.
Dropping the trowel, Nergada spun around. What? When did you see Galatea? Her brother was gone. She was talking to the wind. There you go. That's it.
Sharon, Saran's in the room with you.
Yes.
That was like a
Wiz
awesome.
Daddy is.
Wiz Daddy in person.
Oh, amazing.
Hello.
Oh, man. The cult never fails to take it to the next level. That was great.
I told him it's not my lore. He's got to do some reading.
I love it. Well done, Sharon. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Forgotten Punks. I saw you up here. I didn't know if you had anything to say. But if not, I guess we will close out. I don't know. Dotta Bear, anyone else? Anything else?
No, but keep a lookout. We're doing a lot of interviews over the next couple weeks, and also, I mean, you spread word about Halloween. If you're in other Discords, we're talking to a lot of these other projects. But let people know, trick or treat. These like 1,000 or so knocks from these partner communities, I think, are going to go pretty quick. So we're excited to bring everybody in, and let's shout from the mountaintops.
Matto.
Hey. I know we're coming in pretty long, and this was Wednesdays, but I figured I'd throw in a small update. We had on the Runiverse blog, we actually did a production update last Friday. I'm gonna post it right now on the Secret Tower, but it's small updates on some of the game progress. It gives a little bit of the combat system, a little bit of the music, some information on crafting and forging, and some like environmental artwork. We have a lot of artwork for particularly the Cuckoo Land. That's actually one of my favorite places that I've seen artwork for so far. Actually, I pushed for like the team, like they were like, I was like, can we show this artwork off? And they're like, we're not sure if it's really ready yet, or like we're working on it. I'm like, but I think it will be really great. It's a really magical place. It has like they did like lots of rainbow cloud illustrations, and they have like these floating rainbow marbles in the sky. I think it's a really imaginative place, and I love seeing stuff like this in the Runiverse kind of come to life. And I think a lot of stories can come, like a lot of people can build stories from the Cuckoo Land with like this kind of imagery in mind. So take a look at the blog I sent over. I just posted it in Secret Tower, and if you're looking for any kind of game updates, we'll be posting these a lot more frequently, and just wanted to give that small shout out in case anybody missed it. And please look forward to more updates from us.
Thanks, Meadow.
Yeah, I love the Cuckoo Land as well. I've been working with the art team a lot on that. The Cuckoo Land is a place we haven't talked much about, and I can't wait to dive into the lore on that. But that will have to wait for another Wizard Wednesday. We are way out of time. Anything else, guys?
Vladimir Putin's requesting to speak. So
Vladimir, don't nuke us, please.
Sharon and Wiz Daddy, thank you so much for your lore reading. That was absolutely delightful. We love hearing you every time. Just your voice coming up on Wizard Wednesday, a smile breaks out of my face. So thank you.
I'm going to let Vladimir speak.
Oh, wow.
What's up, Vladimir?
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
What's up?
All right, let's roll it.
Hold on. What, do you have anything to say?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Okay. All right. This has been.
Thanks, Vlad.
I love letting randos up sometimes.
Yeah.
This has been Elf, Dotta, Matatsuki, Bearsnake, Hinboyd, Sharon, Soran the Wiz Daddy, Joe Rachtman, and Vladimir Putin channeling out from the Quantum Down.
No.
Don't forget to put your rune on the door. G in, everybody.